Now, when I say I want to play rhinos in Legacy, I don't mean this. Oh, no, no, no. I mean Siege Rhino. Years 2014. Siege Rhino is released in Khans of Tarkir and becomes an absolute menace as people blink it with Restoration Angel. It was a good time. Hello, I'm Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU. We're going to try to relive a little bit of that Siege Rhino glory today. Neodim has asked me to put it as a 4 of in Nic Fit. And if you're interested in how exactly we got to this deck list, it was a part of the 4-hour live stream that I did. Check out the live tab on my channel if you want to see how we brewed this and some of the other decks that you're going to see or recently have seen on the channel. There's a lot of nuance here to the deck building, despite it kind of looking like we have just rammed 4 Siege Rhinos into the deck. We went back and forth on how to build this a lot. And what we settled on was the same Nic Fit core of these 3 cards that we had tried in a recent video, but then one of the new pieces of technology we came up with was Fiend Artisan. And this allows us to have virtually more copies of Siege Rhino. I have drifted away from playing Green Sun in Nic Fit recently. Green Sun would do a similar sort of thing here, but Fiend Artisan is something that we can find off of an Overlord or a Malevolent Rumble, and the numbers on those, again, long conversation there. But this also opens up some other tutor board possibilities. Notably, while Green Sun searches for green creatures, Fiend Artisan searches for anything. So this can have us search for the ability to learn immediately, or this can have us search for a non-green Silver Bullet sideboard creature if we need to do something like shut off Tameo. And Clarion Conqueror in this very specific metagame is extremely strong versus the Tron deck because it stops the One Ring and Karn at the same time, and kinda stops Ugin, but probably not. The on-cast trigger there is a bit of a menace. So the majority of our board here is just fully tutorable. We have most of the lessons that we played in one of the previous versions of this deck, and then we have 4 different Silver Bullet creatures for slightly different timing. Most of these are going to have strong utility in the combo matchups. So we are looking to get rid of our Eyetwitches and Veteran Explorers via Cabal Therapy, via Lazotep Quarry, which can then bring a creature back later. In a pinch, we can erode our own creature to destroy them that way. And then Witherbloom Charm is basically the greatest thing since Sliced Bread, as it is our Abrupt Decay, or lets us sacrifice our creatures while drawing 2 cards. Since we played a lot of decks that look like this recently, let's just go ahead and hop directly into some matches. And folks, if you need any Magic cards because you're young, you don't have back pain, and therefore you don't have copies of Siege Rhino in your collection already, please consider getting them from toamagic.com. And when you do, use my promo code ThrabenU to let them know that I sent you and save a little bit on your order. Rhinos! All right, my opponent says hello, and I say Veteran Explorer. On 2, I can Witherbloom Charm and sacrifice Veteran Explorer and be off to a really, really good start. We don't want to see like white exile-based removal here taking out Veteran Explorer before I have a chance to Witherbloom Charm it. Don't do it! Don't do it! Okay. Kind of a good news, bad news situation where my Veteran Explorer lived, but my opponent has half of a combo online already, and I'm about to give them more mana. Such is life. Yeah. Opponent takes it. We are charming. Bam, bam. Okay. We can fully die here. So my opponent could, in theory, play land drop into Cephalid Illusionist, and I just get goldfished with Force of Will backup. And that's fine. So if you're not familiar with this combo, my opponent is going to repeatedly target their Cephalid Illusionist to mill their entire deck. Ultimately, they're going to bring back a couple copies of Narcomoeba and dread return a Thassa's Oracle. Just going on the record here and saying something that I often leave in the YouTube comments. Some people really fucking hate Thassa's Oracle. I think it is totally fine by legacy standards for Thassa's Oracle to be a thing. You just don't want to be repeatedly turn 1 by Thassa's Oracle from Oops All Spells. Like, my opponent playing creatures which are interactable at a slower rate is fine. Like, if my opponent does not have Force of Will there, I get to ramp 2 lands, and then I have Erode and or Assassins, a trophy available to disrupt all of this. GG. I don't think decks like this and Doomsday should catch a stray from Oops All Spells. Alright, anything interesting here? So we're not even on a playset of Swords to Plowshares here. There's just a couple of them. There's Tamiyo. Sorry, that was mean. I was just talking about how it wasn't that mean. Not mean. All right. Yeah, opponent says it's basically slow oops, but different. Yeah, slow oops is fine. Oops winning on turn 1 with protection consistently, not fine. When your deck is slow, you have chances to interact with it. All right, I'm into these for sure. Clarion Conqueror is a good singleton to have in here. Endurance is a good singleton to have in here. And then where are we going from there? I probably turn 2 pieces of top end into these 2 creatures. This is a fast matchup. I probably need to take the rhinos out. And I don't know. Something like that. Our, like, grindy attrition-based deck probably doesn't line up super well against what's going on here. Can we dig out of this with Decorum Dissertation? Like, is that just my plan? That sure doesn't feel good. All right. Flow state? Yeah? Negative. Thoughtseize would have been a good name here because I'm so all in on this card. Hopefully my opponent just plays Tamiyo. My rationale was we're trying to win a long, fair game. Well, thank God. But, like, there's still Force of Will days here. Okay. So this is the one that I will bait the Force of Will with, and we play it around days. But then I probably just get Thoughtseize next turn for the other one. Is kind of the problem here. Oh wow, opponent let it resolve. So I now get to take one of their cards while putting something amazing into my hand. Ball Therapy, target you, sacrifice Eyetwitch, probably get the long-term Decorum Dissertation over the, like, short-term Desperate Plea, and then take Thoughtseize. Dismiss that. Thoughtseize is gone. So then the next goal is get Force of Will with Professor of Symbology. So that was my opponent's draw, because we saw Misty in hand. I imagine they're just playing Voice of Victory. Cool, cool, cool. So now I will play the Professor. See if that gets Force of Will. Nope. So I'll get Desperate Plea and try to get this loop stuff going. Both of these being 3s is very inconvenient for me. Then I will intend on using a Surveil land to try to find something else to cast. And if opponent wants to use all of their mana to take half of a card and take this Professor Body off of the field, I am okay with that. Only taking a little bit of damage off of Voice of Victory here. It's not that big of a deal when I have things that look like Barrogoyf in my deck. Down to 17. Opponent draws with a clue. I know they have this land drop. It looks like they're trying to transform Tamiyo ASAP. Which is inconvenient, but we've got things like Witherbloom Charms. Tamiyo will plus up to 4. Now I can only attack Tamiyo for 1. Get the second black here, because I don't have that in my hand. Another one? Another one's okay. Sorry if you notice some random slight camera angle changes during this league. My camera is making some noise. I'm trying to fix that. This is medium. I think I'm going to try to do better than medium. Like, drawing a land is way worse, but drawing a Witherbloom Charm and getting rid of Tamiyo is quite good. Land drop. Just confirming that I have Clarion Conqueror in my deck. I do. 2 mana Fiend Artisan. See if it resolves. It does. I still know that my opponent has Daze. I'm gonna poke Tamiyo here for 1. I can't Desperate Plea because of Daze. I will call that good there. I don't imagine that I get to untap with this, but it's real cool if I do. Yes. I think this should just like be held back at this stage, yeah. Alright, at this point, I think I am firing off Desperate Plea. Both modes, target Professor, target Voice of Victory, 1 and 2, sacrifice the Professor. Alright, this is good enough for an opposing reaction. Tracking a clue. At this point, it might just be correct to not Force of Will anything unless it touches Tamiyo. Alright, pitching the Daze. These cards are gone. Now, next turn, I can resolve Decorum Dissertation and, like, maybe play some reasonable magic. Flow State is online. What was that? Tamiyo returning Thoughtseize for the Decorum Dissertation is rough. We're not in danger of Tamiyo Ultimate anymore, which is good. I'm down to 13 from that attack. That's nice. I imagine that is just what I am doing. Oh, come on. Another Force of Will and Daze pair. Fucked up. Opponent's down to 13. I have some powerful top decks, but my opponent is massively favored here. The, like, overall Dimir, Tamiyo, Thoughtseize, Force of Will, Daze, Shell is just so incredibly good. I will have one more Surveil land to try to select for something here. Even if Tamiyo doesn't ultimate, just Tamiyo minus pick up Flow State, or Tamiyo minus pick up Force of Will for hardcast Force of Will. Like, those lines are incredible. I will take 3 more. Opponent to 7. Yeah. Tamiyo gets back Flow State. Severely messed up magic card. Looted Delta comes down. Barrogoyf? Yeah. So this is now lethal on board for next turn. I'll go to 6, and do I not have Lush Portico in this one? I'm just checking myself. Okay, that was a different Nic Fit deck. Believe it or not, they have blurred together a little bit. Yeah, that is not going to do it. We are very dead here. We lost game 1 to the combo, and we lost game 2 to just fair Dimir stuff, plus a prismatic ending. I think opponent played that one pretty well in terms of Force of Will usage, but that second Force of Will was absolutely backbreaking. GG. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. All right, my opening hand is totally reasonable. I have 3 lands. I have some amount of interaction for a combo deck. Ignoble Hierarch. Maybe some sort of cradle control type thing. In which case, maybe the scariest thing that can happen is Natural Order. Let's Cabal Therapy Natural Order. It's not the play that my opponent makes next turn, but it's the one that terrifies me the most. Aha! Very nice. Then we will get one of Green Sun or White. Unless my opponent goes White, Cradle, Small Green Sun. Ooh, it's a Badgermole Cub tapping Cradle first? No, I guess it works out the same way. It's kind of a sweet, ruinous water bending, huh? I wipe out some amount of this stuff. There's Eyetwitch. Ball Therapy, target you. Sacrifice Eyetwitch. Get the ruinous water bending. I can play next turn. Take your Green Sun. Get out. Now, do I play Veteran Explorer or Surveil Land? I think I'm gonna Surveil Land. Like, I could kill my own Veteran Explorer with this, but I think I'm more keen on sacrificing it to Fiend Artisan to turn it into another creature. That's actually pretty annoying. That's something that's good against ruinous waterbending. That will just naturally grow when my opponent sacks a creature to save this one. Rather inconvenient. Such is life. There's Mortuary. Rhino? Rhino is okay. But we'll probably not keep up with these. I'm going to send Rhino to Graveyard, unfortunately. So I can play Veteran Explorer, immediately sack it, and Ruinous Waterbending. And that makes me better equipped to do stuff like this in a minute. Alright. I think we have drifted away from the Fiend Artisan plan. And I'm not taking out my opponent's full board anyway. Double white is quite strong here. I will get a Plains and a Swamp. Opponent gets some Forests. I will Ruinous Waterbending. And we'll see how much this actually accomplishes, because the white can do some crimes here. So it can turn this into something that phases one of these two out. And I don't actually end up accomplishing all that much, because this will also stay alive once it's a 3/3. Yep. So I kill a land, but it comes back. So I don't actually accomplish a ton there. I decreased the number of creatures on board, but, like, the whites are problems. I can Siege Rhino and Fiend Artisan. Probably where I need to go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a drain, so it'll put me back up to 10. And I have a 4/4 Fiend Artisan, which won't actually keep up with these. And maybe look at double blocking one or something. Not anymore. And there's another one for the ability to Earthbend. An opponent can Earthbend one of these. And then, like, probably not a third Talon Gates. Okay, they're sacrificing one. Oh, right, it just comes back. Yep, seems good. And I get bogged. Disgusting. Yeah, that second White of the Reliquary just shut down a lot of my plans. GG's. We did not get established there before my opponent started doing the thing, even though we stopped that natural order. Clarion Conqueror is a pretty sick silver bullet to find. Flop with 1 Siege Rhino. I don't know that I'm doing anything else. I could play an Endurance. Yeah. I don't like that it is seeming correct to just board out some number of Siege Rhinos every time. This is fine. And specifically by that, I mean that I have these 4 singleton, like, Gaddock Teague Collector Oof, and the 2 that I boarded in. I have these 4 singletons, but the most expendable thing in the deck is just the Siege Rhinos. That is the build around card. That's going to go to Graveyard. I just want more mana here. So I am hoping to Orcish Bowmasters a turn 2 threat. That is the entire reason that I have kept this hand. And it didn't happen. Hate that for me. I probably hold open Bowmasters to try to get something on my opponent's turn. So I'll just pass here. Alright, no end of turn Dryad Arbor. Bayou comes down. There is a Badger Mole Cub, turning a Bayou into a creature. I will just get that with Bowmasters at end of turn here, for what that's worth. The Bayou does come back, though. The question becomes, now what? I could play Professor and Veteran Explorer. I could also just shove the Goyf and assume that it gets bigger next turn after I do something like this. I think I need to set up some removal for the future. So there's Veteran Explorer. There's the Professor. I think I'm going to get Desperate Plea and pass. It's possible I should just get Ruinous Waterbending, even though that didn't work out last time. There's a White of the Reliquary. Bowmasters is neat. Bowmasters is kind of free. So I Bowmasters, ping and kill Veteran Explorer. Then I Desperate Plea, sacrifice Professor, get back Professor, kill White of the Reliquary. Alright, I think that's my conceptual plan. Go ahead and try to push 2 damage with this. Alright, success. 1 and 2. Bowmasters. Ping Veteran Explorer. Yes. We'll get green and basic land white. Fails to find a basic land. Alright, very nice. So both modes here. Get back Professor. Destroy White of the Reliquary. 1 and 2. I think I am sacrificing this. so that this is in the graveyard for later. Now I can learn, and I can just get another Desperate Plea. Ruinous Waterbending, also fine. All it good there. And then next turn, I can play a Barrogoyf and do a Desperate Plea thing. I'm prepared for like a Natural Order Wasteland. Sure. That's annoying. I need those lands. And now I'm not great at doing two different things. Oh, that helps. Kind of. Yeah, no, it's fine. All right, Desperate Plea. Both modes. Return Veteran Explorer. Yes. Destroy Ice Till Explorer. Paying 1 and 2. Sacrificing this. Veteran Explorer is back. 1 and 2. King Veteran Explorer. Say yes. I already know that my opponent doesn't have any. I get bam and bam. I'm fine just doing this at 2 mana. We'll probably grow the Barrogoyf, and then I can get Professor back yet again. There's other lines this turn where I try to get Badger Mole Cub off the battlefield by potentially swinging in with Bowmasters and trying to block Natural Order time. Not Natural Order time. Bird, land, Natural Order time. Okay, cool. Atraxa is a pretty big refuel. Snuff out. Premium removal spell. Do I have another removal spell for Atraxa that I can learn for? I don't. That is inconvenient. All right. So Sylvan Safekeeper, not Natural Order. Sylvan Safekeeper, not you, not you. 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. I can probably just outdamage Atraxa with Germination Practicum. This is not going to be easy. I'm hoping that flooping down 2 Barrogoyfs and then putting 2 +1/+1 counters on them every turn for the rest of the game takes me somewhere. There's the Cradle we know about. The Grist is so annoying here. All right, this has been turned into a creature. Sylvan Safekeeper. All right, I take a hit. Clarion Conqueror is interesting. So there's also a Ruinous Waterbending line where I just clear out bam, 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 bam. All right, let's read the words on this and gain some life. So if I Germination Practicum, I can gain 12 life. I think I need to clear this so longer term I can get rid of the Atraxa. Yeah, I'll actually airbend here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, 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 for Ruinous Waterbending. All right, so the Gaia's Cradle comes back. I gain some life. Very nice. I will now go to combat and kill either Grist or Atraxa. Dealer's choice. Grist it is. I am at 24, facing down an Atraxa. Overlord is coming into the picture. And then opponent can hit me for 7, but I'm attacking back for 10 with lifelink. I'm hopefully fine with that overall. Alpha Deathclaw. Sure. That's inconvenient for me. I will take 7. I am at 17. That's not really what I'm looking for. That's just something that dies to the known Snuff Out, as is Clarion Conqueror. All right, in we go. Opponent lets me connect. Mill 5. I can't kill Eyetwitch right now. Guess that's Siege Rhino? If I Eyetwitch and block Atraxa, what does that get? It's Germination Practicum. Okay. Eyetwitch over Siege Rhino. 1 for Eyetwitch. 3 for Clarion Conqueror. Oh, this is a slug. I have shut off Alpha Deathclaw's ability until my opponent snuffs out Clarion Conqueror. So that's a thing. Talon Gates. Oh, that was potentially better. Oof, Abrupt Decay. And Monstrosity. Sure. Rough. Now the Germination Practicum line isn't very good anymore. I will just straight up block 7, though. Try to figure out my life. My opponent also just still has Snuff Out. I guess it's Seismic Sense. There were probably ways that I could have threaded this better. My opponent's stuff is just lining up very well versus the resources that I have available to me. Actually, no, I will play that land. I think digs one deeper. Just means that I can't play exactly my Singleton Lazotep quarry. You know, that's just how life is sometimes, isn't it? I think at this point my opponent's got it. What we were doing just did not line up well versus my opponent's resources. Like, it seems like the Ruinous Waterbending, like, tutorable thing should be good, but Badgermole Cub and Light of the Reliquary just kept my opponent's resources coming back. Ugh, that felt very, very tough. GG. Alrighty, round 3, I have a reasonable looking opening hand. It's not great. It requires me to ping my own Eyetwitch, and I'm just kind of, oh, yep, never mind, hand's perfect. Was never concerned at all. Eyetwitch resolves. An opponent cycles a Lorien Revealed. So could be a show and tell deck of some kind that wants to cast that for free off of Omniscience, or could be a slower, more controlling deck, or could be High Tide. So there's a flow state. Ooh, we are on the unfair side of things. Pitching a stock up. Sure. I'll go ahead and attack for 1. I suspect that I am just going to play Orcish Bowmasters in some capacity here. Play a Bayou and pass. So, this is not great. I think I'm going to try to have 2 Orcish Bowmasters in play for the stuff that looks like this. The opponent is at 18. I'll put in another Orcish Bowmasters. Opponent is at 17, and we're hoping they don't have the creatures and that they have actual factual cantrips and not things like Stock Up and Flow State that aren't drawing cards. Notably here, the Jund version that has Chaos Defilers is notably better in this matchup. Another Flow State, but I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. So you can reveal an instant or sorcery, put it into your hand. There's another Stock Up. So it looks like my opponent is on a mono blue, just full in on show and tell build. And just so many of their cards are getting around Orcish Bowmasters, unfortunately. What the fuck is that? Choose 5. Destroy... No, target permanent phases out. Draw a card. Exile a graveyard. 2 damage. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Alright, so I do get a shit ton of Orcish Bowmaster triggers. You attacking for 1 might be you more valuable than learning at this point. The opponent will be at 11 when this stack clears. There's 9 damage in play. Now this sort of stuff is live. That was 2 Lorien Revealeds. Alright. Opponent has looked at a lot of cards, to say the least. Stock Up again. Is that the 4th one? All the Stock Ups and Flow States are mushing together. There's one... Oh, yeah, okay. So there's Seagate Restoration, cast as the actual spell. So my opponent has no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. And there's an Emrakul. I am comfortable conceding to an Emrakul and a 22-card hand. All right, GG. 4x Thoughtseize in. Gaddock Teague in. Collector Oof and Clarion Conqueror technically have text if my opponent is playing Chrome Mox. I don't know that I'm excited about that, but they have text. My creature removal in the form of Erode can probably go out. When an Emrakul gets in play, it's probably just too late. Fiend Artisan feels very slow, despite the fact that Gaddock Teague is interesting. I think I'm going 2 Fiend Artisans out, 1 Siege Rhino out. Without, what is it, Ozai's Cruelty here. My learn stuff is also actually not particularly strong. Like, learning for this to get over the hump of a game is probably kind of what I'm looking at. The Eyetwitch is just best as something that sacrifices to Cabal Therapy here. Alright, I have Assassin's Trophy, Bowmasters is mid. I'm gonna try to do better than this. Yes. Turn 1, Cabal Therapy, name Show and Tell. Turn 2, play Veteran Explorer, sack it to Cabal Therapy, play Barrowglyph. I think Siege Rhino is probably better than Eyetwitch here. Let's get a Bayou. Cabal Therapy, Show and Tell, please. Ha ha ha! That was pretty okay. Island comes down. Play Veteran Explorer. Ball Therapy. Is this an instant? Ooh, it is an instant. Oh, but it's a reveal, so that's fine. Back Veteran Explorer. Yes. Do a green and a black. Silundi Vision. First time I have named that card with a Cabal Therapy, to be sure. Could have gotten 2 cards with Chrome Mox, though. The value. The value. All right. There is a 4/5 Barrogoyf. And we can do Barrogoyf and Siege Rhino Crimes. This should clear out a game pretty quickly. Flow State, unfortunately, is live. And this could, like, potentially immediately turn into, like, Ancient Tomb stock up. An opponent could just rebuild from losing 3 cards to 1 Cabal Therapy. Well, are we just going now? There's another Flow State. Hate that. So just like that, my opponent is up to 6 cards. Flow State Expressive Iteration, but better. Alright. So, even Ozai's Cruelty would not be particularly good here. Let's go in for 4 and see if I find something better to do with my turn than Siege Rhino. 16. Mill 4, yes. Other Barrogoyf. In. For sure. Yeah, I can just put 6 power in this way. For 6, 10, 14. No, 13. Yeah, I mean, I just want to double spell here, unfortunately. And Barrogoyf mills towards Cabal Therapy. Is Germination Practicum lethal next turn with 3 bodies? 6, 7, 8 plus 8, 16. Germination Practicum is lethal next turn. Put in a Siege Rhino off a show and tell, but that is not lethal. Ancient Tomb comes down. Oh, what the fuck is this? I hate it, whatever it is. Oh, it's just Seagate Restoration. Put half of my deck into my hand. Okay, it's not literally. It's equal to the number of cards in your hand. The opponent now has 11 card hand with 2 copies of Chrome Mox available. That's a Force of Will under there. Dismiss all of those. You just get to Flow State immediately. Chalice. Okay. So this has to be Force of Willed, but my opponent put a Force of Will under there, so surely they have another, right? Because I telegraphed on board lethal. I'm still going to attempt lethal, but like this just has to be a counterspell. Yep. Pitching Seagate Restoration, so I can deal 10 to my opponent. They are at 3. We'll mill some cards. Get back another Barrogoyf. And mill some cards. Get back a Professor just for coverage. Now, here's the cool fucking thing. Opponent is at exactly 3 life. Now, I don't know if you know what a Siege Rhino does, but when it enters, each opponent loses exactly 3 life, and you gained exactly 3 life. The dream of getting a legacy kill with Siege Rhino is on the fucking table. Who needs Chaos Defiler when you can just cast Siege Rhino? No, not even cast Siege Rhino. Just resolve Siege Rhino without paying its mana cost. That's a Flow State. So opponent now needs like a Lotus Petal or Chrome Mox style card plus Show and Tell, or is dead on board. Alright, hot damn. GG. I am not fast enough to keep up with this deck. Like, I am trying to dirtle, and my opponent is like, I have 4 Flow States and 4 stock ups. Like, I took 3 cards with Cabal Therapy, and it didn't even feel that good. I believe my opponent had drawn back up to like 11 cards in hand with that Seagate Restoration. Bowmaster is a thing here. Kind of. I'm going to keep the hand that has a turn 1 Thoughtseize. Like, that is a fine start. But the discard's not amazing. My opponent just recovers from it so easily. Thoughtseize you. Oh yeah, we are just on. Do I just take their blue source? I think I just take their blue source. That was super greedy to not play that tapped on turn 1. Yeah. I'm fully prepared for my opponent to Luxac into an island as their draw, but that was greedy. I am just gonna Bowmasters my opponent. I'll do it in their upkeep before they have a chance to draw a Force of Will effect. Ding ya. 19. Alright, that's an ETB tapped blue source. The self-spiraling damage? I think the self-spiraling damage. What is the secondary color? I'm getting white with this. It's looking like this is white-black with this many black cards in hand. And then I will swing in for 2. Opponent to 17. Opponent currently has to tap. Ooh, that's so good. Like having a stock up there and not a flow state. Like that gets to look for the lands that then casts the flow states. Oh shit, we're just going now. I'm just dead if they have Omniscience. Yeah. Because they have 2 guaranteed flow states here. Disgusting. I just physically cannot put enough pressure on the board to beat my opponent's deck before they can do the thing. I'm just going to concede here. Like, they can click more things, but I am dead to that. We are taking an absolute beating today and just simply not playing much Magic. GG. Alright, I have a weird opening hand that does not have access to green mana, but can cast 3 of its spells. I think it's fine. I don't think it's good. I think it's fine. Alright. Welcome to Phil Gets His... Oh. Anyway, Phil gets his teeth kicked in the league. Opponent has gone for an Archon of Cruelty and has reanimated it. I just have Erode, so this is fine. Assuming no counterspell. If there's a counterspell backing this up, like, shit, we tried. I'm going to get rid of Veteran Explorer since I don't have green. My only card that I simply cannot cast. I don't know what cards are in my opponent's deck. Like, Unmarked Grave Reanimator is not a thing in Legacy, so we're in Brew territory. I'm going to not let my opponent brainstorm into a counterspell. Here is the problem, though. This is a destroy effect. This is not an exile effect. So this is going to go to the graveyard, and my opponent can just fucking bring it back. It is certainly worth doing, as my opponent getting to attack with this and, like, draw the extra card immediately is a big deal. But, like, this not being a path to exile here is huge. We want to be playing Erode, because Erode lets us destroy our own learned creatures. Alright, so opponent is playing cantrips. It is not just blue for, like, sideboard show and tell stuff. Alright, that is another reanimate. Ugh. Get rid of an Overlord. And a new Ponder. This is not what I'm looking for. Not technically dead yet, but I'm pretty darn close to dead. I need... No, maybe I am dead, because I can't put a creature into play and also do this thing, Desperate Plea, at the same time. Like, I can draw mana or a creature. Just don't think I can get both here. Like, I discard this. I learn and get the Desperate Plea to be an out to this, but I'm dead to it next turn. I could draw the other Erode, I guess. Put it back in the graveyard for my opponent to reanimate it again. Disastrous. I'm at 5. Another land drop comes down. Are we ready for flow state? Oh, we're just gonna reanimate another thing. Oh, we are doing the spice. So there's now going to be a World Gorger Dragon loop. These are fun. So when this enters, my opponent exiles all of their stuff. And then... Oh, no, we're not going to go infinite. We're just going to get rid of this. Oh, no, this is... Okay, so the Archon was already in play, so this is just going to be lethal. So my opponent is... This is a little hard to explain with the cards jumping around. My opponent is looping World Gorger Dragon with Animate Dead. The Animate Dead is making them discard... Alright, now the things have stopped moving. World Gorger Dragon enters, exiling all of the permanents. The Animate Dead was bringing the World Gorger Dragon back. The World Gorger Dragon, accordingly, goes to Graveyard, which returns all of these permanents. So in a World Gorger Dragon loop like this, you can generate infinite mana, and if you have something else with an ETB trigger in play already, it is just game over. And we don't have our government-issued set of Leyline of the Voids here, unfortunately, because we are trying to be cute with a tutor package. So we don't have fantastic tools for this. And unfortunately, our removal for these large creatures is destroy-based removal, including Desperate Plea.
We are not well suited for this. As it turns out, when we took my like well-oiled machine that capped at Barrowgoyf, not counting Overlord as a 5-drop, and like we took the Malevolent Rumbles and the extra Overlords out to play Siege Rhinos, we got rid of a lot of our early game consistency. We are not making it to the end game to just cast Siege Rhinos. I'm not sure if we have cast 1 this league yet. I don't really know how I'm expecting to win this. Like, I'm assuming a show and tell pivot, which we're also not great against. I don't have enough disruption to keep the big things from getting into play in the first place. Overlord feels awkward filling my graveyard for them. Is weird. Because they can just reanimate my stuff. 2. That is a 1-lander. That is not going to do it for me. This seems terrible. I don't interact with my opponent, and my first relevant play is a turn 3 Barrowgoyf. I'm going to go to 5. Keep. Get rid of Eyetwitch and the ETB tapped land? Question mark. And the goal is play Bowmasters on 2, kill my own Veteran Explorer with Bowmasters, play Fiend Artisan, and then have Fiend Artisan be able to tutor up Endurance. That's the game plan. Might accelerate my opponent directly into their show and tell and die. But I think we gotta fight the good fight. Assassin's Trophy. Yeah. Marsh Flats is gonna get Scrubland for sure. And we'll try to Bowmaster. Bowmaster, Veteran Explorer. This does, I suppose, shuffle the Ponder if my opponent wants these lands, which may or may not be a good thing. Can't get basic planes here if I want to cast Fiend Artisan. Opponent gets their 2 lands. There's Fiend Artisan. I have a respectable amount of mana. Opponent does not make use of their mana on the end of my turn, which is great. This is now like Unmarked Grave into Reanimate or whatever. Rainstorm. I like it. Good for me. 3 Bowmaster triggers. Opponent to 16. Surveil Land can now put a creature into the graveyard if opponent put it on top with Brainstorm. Dark Ritual time. Okay, they're digging, which is good news for me. Did they find it? They did. It is a Reanimate. I have Assassin's Trophy in hand. And roughly 7 damage on board if I kill Bowmasters, which I think I'm going to do. Oh fuck, I forgot about that. Still think I am keeping the body. Thought sees. Don't quite get that, but alright. I don't quite have enough mana to learn immediately and cast Desperate Plea. I could turn this into Eyetwitch and get Desperate Plea to hand. Or I can play out Barrowgoyf. Opponent will be at 12. Probably not killing them. But when they attack, I sacrifice this. And I use Desperate Plea to kill this and like bring back a Bowmasters that can get rid of this. I lose this Barrowgoyf in process. I think that's just happening. That's just happening. I'm just going to overpay for this in case there is something else that I am not thinking about. Does the Professor do the same thing? Thoughtseize gets either one of them. Yeah, Professor does the same thing. Get a Desperate Plea. The opponent will go in for 9. I sack the Professor. I discard Barrowgoyf. I keep Desperate Plea to answer Archon, but my opponent has 8 cards in hand. So I'm not feeling good about this. Down to 11 for that fetch. Oh, we have gone deep. I can attack, I think. My opponent trades. I do Professor into Desperate Plea. I am already dead to Force of Will, so I'm not thinking about that as a thing. In for 5. Right, opponent is blocking. Here is the Professor. I get to learn. I'm already dead if this doesn't resolve. I think I just get Seismic Sense as a cantrip. I'll just put another card in hand, destroy target creature, 1 and 2, sacrificing you. So I am dead to the removal spell, or sorry, dead to the counter spell here. And still probably dead to the 6 cards remaining in my opponent's hand. Yep. Tameo is in there as well, although we didn't see that yet. Not surprising. Demir Shell is good. We are getting absolutely fucking bodied today. GG. We'll try to put 1 win on the board in the last round. All right. My opening hand does not do anything. I will mulligan this. The second hand is very slow. I'll keep it rather than going to 5, but like, sorry, sweet prince. With 2 lands, I just have to throw that back and try to play Magic with this stuff. All right, opponent is a fucking second main phase hipster. When playing Ancient Tomb, come on, just shove. We're playing against Painter. Everything is blue. I am interested in a Surveil land here. Opponent remains a second main phase hipster for their next turn. Also chooses not to attack with Painter Servant, which just seems like missed damage to me. I will fetch, grab my Underground Mortuary. That gives me my colors and a Surveil. I'm just looking for more mana here. I did find it. So there's this kind of awkward thing going on where I would like to blow up Urza Saga, but if I do, it gives my opponent red mana that they might not actually have right now. This just represents Grindstone, though, which is very important. I need to just not die to the combo immediately. The Urza Saga is problematic. Dying to land drop, activate Grindstone is also a problem. I think I'm in an everything is just bad situation because I was on the draw and my opponent had Ancient Tomb. I think I'm going to lean on the fact that this is not really built as a combo deck anymore, and the Grindstone tends to be like a 2 of, and just kill the Urza Saga. Get out. There's a blue mountain for you. Alright, now opponent attacks. I'm at 18. Opponent does not do anything with their mana. They gonna Pyroblast my land? Barrogoyf. I just want more land drops here. Alright, opponent's just got nothing. I just legitimately want to cast Seismic Sense and get my next land drop. With the goal here being next turn play Professor of Symbology and do Origin of Metal Bending on Urza Saga or Painter's Servant as I deem appropriate. Saga is up to 2. Opponent has white in their deck as well. So Painter's Servant gets to get in there. I'm at 17. Ooh, Erode. That's cool. I'm a little tight on mana here. I can't play the Professor and Erode. I could Erode the Painter and play Barrogoyf, or I could just stay on my plan of Professor of Symbology, the Urza Saga, which I think I'm going to do. Sorry, for Origin of Metal Bending. Trigger, Origin of Metal Bending, destroy the Urza Saga, dead to a Pyroblast. Opponent is doing this with Ancient Tomb. Yep, so I am dead to fetch Grindstone and activate. On the off chance that they do this in my upkeep and I can remove this with Erode, I will not concede yet. But it sure seems like my opponent is floating mana. Then there is the Grindstone and immediately activating it. I am unfortunately dead to that. GG. Clarion Conqueror in. Collector Oof in. Endurance in. It is unquestionably correct to take out the Siege Rhinos for these cards. Siege Rhino hasn't done shit today. We're going to give it a chance and not board it out, but it is unquestionably correct to take them out of the deck. Bowmasters isn't exactly incredible here. I could cut 3 Bowmasters instead. I'll still keep 1 as it's something that can ping my Eyetwitches and Veteran Explorers. Alright, unfortunately the ETB tapped land is incredibly awkward here, and I think makes the hand unkeepable. Like, in addition, we also don't have white. I mean, yeah, it's Cabal Therapy Veteran Explorer stuff. I think, again, it is unquestionably correct to get rid of the Siege Rhino, but, like, we'll keep it and attempt to kill someone with a Siege Rhino for the memes. How many basics do I have total? I have 5 total. I could go basic 1, basic 2, basic 3, basic 4, and, like, not worry about Blood Moon ever. I think I'm okay with that. So, basic Swamp, Cabal Therapy, target you. Painter is pretty good here, as I don't want my opponent to, like, have Painter and then Pyroblast these threats. It also names something that can come down on turn 1, like Goblin Welder. Kind of like that. Would have hit on Painter. And opponent also had the Ancient Tomb. Unfortunate. Luckily, opponent's hand has a lot of air. So hopefully on turn 2, I Veteran Explorer, Cabal Therapy, Goblin Engineer, and then hopefully they just have bricks. Ancient Tomb, Painter's Servant. Oh, that's fine. I have 3 forests. Yeah, that's fine. I have 3 forests. If I do future Veteran Explorers, they're not good. Alternatively, I can leave 1 basic in the deck and get a dual land here. Yeah, that seems fine. Get like a Bayou, Veteran Explorer. Now, Ball Therapy, sacking Veteran Explorer. Yes. Forest. My opponent's 1 draw being Pyroblast, and countering this would be Savage. It didn't happen. We'll name the Goblin Engineer that we know about. Okay, yeah, they drew a blank. That is fantastic, because that means that I now get to resolve a Barrogoyf. It does not die to Lightning Bolt at this time. There's no instant in the graveyard, so if my opponent were to draw a Lightning Bolt, they could bolt it, put 3 damage on it, but it would be 4 toughness by the time we attempt to see whether or not Barrogoyf actually dies due to state-based effects. Grindstone win. Basically, it just happened. So I get a couple of turns to answer either Painter or Urza's Saga, which should be pretty reasonable to do. I will just attack. I've got Death Touch here. I'm only hitting for 2 right now. A Veteran Explorer can come back. All right. It's not good for me, but I'll take it. Value is value. All right, we have successfully cast a Siege Rhino in Legacy. I am just going to die to Urza Saga Tutoring Grindstone, though. Saga up to 2. City of Traders comes down? That feels weird. You have so many other lands, including 1 that grows the construct tokens. Uh-huh. Sure. Okay. Why not my Veteran Explorer? Also, why make the sorcery at sorcery speed? Fiend Artisan as a draw, I believe, means that I am fully dead. I need my opponent to miss a very obvious line. I need them to miss blocking my Barrogoyf. I'm going to inject maximum confusion by turning all of my creatures sideways, but I am dead if they just block Barrogoyf. Alright, they did not block Barrogoyf. I now need to hit a learn creature, I think specifically a Professor. I hit a Siege Rhino. Thanks, Siege Rhino. So I can hit my opponent to 3 and then be dead. And my opponent always has to activate because they're like otherwise probably going to be dead on board. So drain you, do this and pass. Hold up fake interaction that I don't actually have. Sure. You know what we needed? 1 more Siege Rhino. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. Like my opponent had a handful of bricks, top deck the Urza Saga, and I did not find anything to deal with it in the next couple of draws, including some extra Barrogoyf hits, and including 1 that I did not deserve to get. Ugh. Devastating league for Nic Fit, which I believe has like 4-1 most of its leagues recently. Variants finally swinging back in the other direction. GG. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. There's no reason to play Siege Rhino in Legacy. Like the only reason to play this card is for nostalgia of an older era. In Googling Siege Rhino to like just double check what set it came out in, I was pretty sure it was Cons, but I wanted to double check. Like there was a thread from like 5 years ago that is like, why has Siege Rhino been power crept out of Magic? And that was 5 years ago, and we've had a lot of very, very powerful printings since then. And taking this out of the deck meant that like some of the Overlord and Malevolent Rumble type stuff was leaving the deck. So rather than having 2 more Overlords and 4 more Malevolent Rumbles, both of which vastly increase the sort of consistency of my deck, I have a bunch of top end that's hard to cast and a way to tutor for Siege Rhino that is conceptually good but did not work out in practice. Let's end on a bit of an etymology lesson. So nostalgia, that word, it's Greek in origin, and nostos means a journey home, and that algia root means pain. So nostalgia, literally speaking, is the pain of going home. Think about things like Odysseus's journey in the Odyssey, for example. Like this is the etymology of this word. So when you are playing something that is nostalgic, you should be prepared for the pain that comes along with it of playing something that is on the wrong side of playability. So I'm sure in another week or something we will give another Nic Fit shell a try. People are still very excited about this, but we've got to keep it tight. We have got to keep it tight. We're doing something kind of janky in playing Nic Fit in the first place, so like we gotta lock in while we are playing Nic Fit. For what it's worth, I don't think the pairings for us were the best today. When we play against things like Reanimator, and I don't have the ley lines because I am trying out this like creature tutor package. It is a little bit of a kick in the teeth. And when we're not playing a Jund version for the Chaos Defilers, we're significantly worse versus Show and Tell, right? So I don't think we won the matchup lottery today by any stretch of the imagination, but we also didn't set ourselves up for success. So we tried to make Siege Rhino work, and we failed. So let's retire Siege Rhino for, another 5 years, and then we'll get nostalgic again and give it another go. All right, folks, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And as always, if you have a cool idea you want to feature on the channel, the donation deck list information is available in every single video description. Have a great day. I'm going to go find some lunch and then hit the gym. Oh, you have something cool to do too. I got a Pathfinder game tonight. It's going to be great. Hopefully. Unless we die. If we die, and I get to make a new character. See ya!